September 1st, 1983. Korean Airlines Flight 007, a massive Boeing 747 carrying 269 men, women, and children, vanishes from the sky. The official story, the one we've been told for over 40 years, is a grim but simple tale of the Cold War. A navigational error, a tragic miscalculation, sent the civilian airliner drifting into restricted Soviet airspace. The Soviets, paranoid and on edge, scrambled their jets and shot it down. A mistake. A horrific international incident, but a mistake nonetheless. For decades, that was the end of the story. The world mourned, pointed fingers, and eventually the memory faded into the history books. But what if the most important piece of evidence was deliberately buried? The black boxes, the cockpit voice, and flight data recorders were recovered by the Soviets from the bottom of the Sea of Japan. Yet their full, unedited contents were never released to the world. We were given transcripts, summaries, but never the raw, terrifying truth. Now, fast forward to January of 2026. A name you've never heard before suddenly changes everything. Elena Volkov. She is the daughter of Nikolai Volkov, who was the head radar technician at the top-secret Soviet monitoring station on Moneron Island the night KAL 007 was shot down. For years, she held onto her father's private journals, a detailed first-hand account of what really happened in those dark, early morning hours. This year, she leaked them. And what they reveal is not a story of a simple navigation error. It's a story that defies the laws of physics. According to Nikolai Volkov's meticulous logs, KAL 007 wasn't just lost. It was in two places at the same time. The Soviets didn't shoot down a spy plane. They shot down a glitch in reality itself. This is where the official narrative completely falls apart. Nikolai's journals, filled with frantic handwritten notes and complex radar diagrams, tell a chillingly different story. He writes that at 03:12 a.m. local time, the radar signature for KAL 007 didn't just veer off course, it duplicated. One moment there was one blip, proceeding normally along the designated civilian air corridor, R20. The next moment, there were two. The first blip stayed right where it was supposed to be, on its way to Seoul. But the second one, an identical twin, instantly appeared hundreds of miles away, deep inside the heavily fortified Soviet death zone over the Kamchatka Peninsula. Nikolai, a seasoned professional, thought it was an equipment malfunction. He ran diagnostics, checked his systems. Everything was working perfectly. He tracked both signals. They were the same, identical transponder codes, identical altitude and speed readings. He could even hear the radio transmissions. The pilots were communicating with air traffic control in Tokyo, their voices calm, routine, completely oblivious that a phantom version of their own aircraft was triggering every alarm in the Soviet Far East Command. They had no idea that half of their existence was being targeted by Soviet Su-15 interceptors scrambling into the sky. This phenomenon is what a shadowy international task force now calls the Black Box Protocol. Nikolai Volkov was the first to witness it. Certain high-altitude, high-speed flight paths, especially those crossing powerful geomagnetic anomalies, can act as temporal fault lines. On that night in 1983, KAL 007 didn't make a wrong turn. It slipped. It became a single physical object existing in two separate geographic locations at the exact same time. The Soviet pilot who locked his missiles onto the intruder wasn't just targeting a plane. He was firing at a paradox, a tear in the fabric of the universe. And when you fire a missile at a paradox, it doesn't just go away. Let's jump to today, March 2026. Captain Robert Hayes, a veteran pilot with 20 years of experience, is flying a routine overnight cargo route from Seoul to Los Angeles. It's a quiet flight, just him, his co-pilot, and the vast, empty Pacific Ocean below. Suddenly, the cockpit is filled with a piercing alarm. The TCAS, the traffic collision avoidance system, is screaming at them. It's showing an aircraft directly ahead on a collision course. But that's impossible. Air traffic control confirms the sky is clear for 100 miles in every direction. His own radar is empty. Yet the TCAS is blaring, showing a target with a transponder code that makes his blood run cold. The code is for Korean Airlines Flight EO07. Hayes' testimony, recorded under the now active Black Box Protocol Task Force, is harrowing. He and his co-pilot looked out the window and saw it. Not a ghost, not a shimmer of light, but a solid, physical Boeing 747. It was so close they could see the distinctive 1980s Korean Air livery, the soft, flickering lights in the passenger cabin windows. It passed right over them, silent, majestic, and utterly impossible. This isn't a haunting. This is what the protocol calls a resurface. The theory is this: when the Soviets shot down the 1983 version of the plane, the one that had glitched into their airspace, they didn't destroy it. You can't destroy something that's not entirely in your reality. The immense energy of the missile explosion acted like a nail, pinning the ghost of the aircraft to that specific temporal fault line over the Pacific. For 43 years it's been trapped there, caught between moments. But now in 2026 something is changing. Earth's own magnetic poles are shifting, becoming unstable. The invisible forces that hold our reality together are weakening, and the pin is coming loose. KAL 007 is starting to bleed back into our world. It's trying to finish its flight, and it might just be bringing its 1983 reality with it. The black box protocol isn't just a theory anymore. It's an active crisis. It confirms that the 1983 shootdown wasn't an end. It was a catalyst, an act of violence that fractured time itself. Now, in 2026, that entire stretch of the Pacific Air Corridor is becoming a dead zone for logic. The rules of physics are breaking down. Elena Volkov, the woman who started all this by leaking her father's journals, has issued a new warning. She points to Nikolai's final, terrified entry. He predicted what would happen next. He called it a mass synchronization event. He theorized that as the fault line becomes more unstable, the ghost blips he saw on his radar would become more and more solid, more real than the actual aircraft flying in our time. And we are seeing it happen, right now. There are classified reports from pilots landing at airports that haven't existed for 30 years. They see the runways, the terminals, and then they blink and it's all gone. There are passenger testimonials quickly suppressed of people boarding a flight in 2026 and getting a strange, unsettling feeling, only to walk off the jet bridge into a world of clunky cars, Cold War headlines, and people staring at their smartphones like they're alien artifacts. They've walked back into 1983. The black boxes from KAL 007 were never hidden because of military secrets or political embarrassment. They were hidden because of what's on the cockpit voice recorder. It's not the pilot's final panicked words. It's something far worse. It's the sound of the universe tearing apart at the seams. So if you find yourself flying over the Pacific tonight on a red-eye flight, and the captain's voice comes over the intercom telling you to look out your window at a passing aircraft, don't look. The plane you see might just be your own flight, 40 years from now, looking back at you across time. The black box is finally open, but we've misunderstood the whole time. The truth wasn't trapped inside it. We are all inside the box now. As of this month, February 2026, 3 more commercial flights have reported ghost shadows, matching the profile of KAL 007. The protocol is active. Reality is no longer a straight line. It's a crash course. Welcome to the deep end. Thank you for watching. If this story chilled you to the bone, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're just getting started.